Well, hello, welcome everybody to Hearts of Iron 4. Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do this for so long. Oh man, I really enjoy this game. I think I have like very near 700 hours on this thing. Like I've spent a whole day playing this game one time. It was probably the most fun I've ever done. Just playing out simulations of how playing as Hitler is like one of the best things ever. If you beat Russia by 1941, because that's what you have to do. You have to beat Russia by 1941. If you wait any later than that, you're probably going to die. But yeah, I'm gonna hop in here. Yeah, I was playing as Greece, so we're gonna play a new game because I have a different mod on, other than the Hearts of Anime. Storm clouds have gathered. Oh wait, let me read the scenario. Okay, so basically this is just a World War II simulator, and it's legit one of the most fun games I've ever played. I've never had to experience a game quite like this one. So basically, we start off at the very beginning as the world gets out of the Great Depression. Well, most of the world does. We need to do so, and we were trying to do something about this situation as a whole. Basically, our situation for Earth at this point in time is very well known to a lot of people. This was not exactly our finest hours. This was by far one of the worst and most catastrophic time periods of human history. This is true. So, we know in the West there's Hitler and Mussolini gobbling power across much of Europe. And then in the East, there's Japan swooping in and taking out China and preparing to attack the Allies in the Pacific. So basically, it's not a very good situation for the world at this point in time. Italy, not so much. They seem to have been. They've tried to put up a front against the imperialistic West. I say imperialistic, but we tried to free the world from fascist tyranny, which we later turned into communist threat. So we now have this very big struggle of ideologies here. Three main ideologies: democratic, fascism, and communism. So we're gonna play in. I should probably read that brief history. The Gathering Storm. Dark times are coming. In Europe, Hitler has consolidated his power, and his attention is now increasingly drawn beyond Germany's borders. Mussolini's Italy continues to embark on daring military adventures, while the Empire of Japan stands posed to attack China and Asia. Almost 20 years have passed since the end of the Great War, and the world has yet again been doused in gasoline. A single spark may be all it takes. And every time, that one spark is Poland. Like every game I've played, it's always, where are they? It's always Poland. Poland is always the reason for the Great War to spark. So, basically, you have to excuse me. I actually really like this mod, and I waited specifically for when this mod was updated. But I do enjoy this. You get to see the other portraits. So let's check them out. Starting with France, we have Edouard Deladier. I cannot pronounce this guy's name. Deladier. Good God, I cannot speak. I don't speak French. I'm sorry. Their ideology is democratic. Their government type, a democratic regime. Their elections are held every 4 years, I think. And their ruling party is Parti Radical. Their starting beliefs are victors of the Great War, which is really bad. They should not believe they're the victors of the Great War. That needs to go away as soon as possible. Disjointed government, that also needs to go away as soon as possible, because basically there's a bit of a problem between the democratic and the communist people of France. And France very well can become communist. I've seen it happen. I have personally seen it happen. And it may happen rarely, but it's happened before. and they will side with the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union does not hold back on Germany. They do not hold back on Germany. Protected by the Mariana Line. Maginot Line. Good God, I can totally read today. So basically, they have maximum planning of 25%, but a slower planning rate. It's what they rely heavily on Alice Lorraine to protect them from Germany. Like, it's crazy how much they rely on this line. And Germany every time goes through Luxembourg and Belgium and crushes France every time. There's USA, which has Franklin Delano Roosevelt, personal favorite of my president. He was actually one of my favorite presidents, simply because he took us away from this. He took us out of the Great Depression because of that. We were still in it at this point in time. We had a lot of trouble. We had undisturbed isolationism, which was terrible. Oh my gosh, we were absolutely terrible. That's the worst. And Home of the Free, they can actually create factions. Very rarely, I think it was only one time, that the USA actually made a faction with the Philippines. It was a very interesting moment. Their ideology is democratic. Their government is a democratic regime. Their elections are held every 4 years. The ruling party is the Democratic Party. Then there's the UK with Stanley Baldwin. Poor Stanley Baldwin. He didn't get much of a footnote at this time. I like how they have King George V as like some crazy old dude. Ideology, democratic. Government, democratic regime. Elections every 4 years. I think it's every 5. No, it's not every 5. Yeah, it's every 5 because Chamberlain stepped down. Conservative Party. No, Baldwin stepped down. Then Netherland took power, and then it was Winston Churchill. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay. Conservative Party, that's basically the Republicans of Britain. Liberal Party was the Democratic Party of Britain. Now, with Britain will always be able to hold strong against Germany. I've always taken out Britain as fast as I could and then turned my attention east. That's always been what I do. I made sure to take out the Allies entirely. Once Britain falls, the Allies surrender. So there's no point in fighting anymore after that. So they have the British Stoicism, which allows them to create factions, but it keeps them from drifting ideologies. Basically, they're stronger against conversion attempts. The war to end all wars, which actually decreases recruitable population factor. It's not a great thing, but it's not as bad as France. Holy crap. France has such a hard time. And then there's King George V, who is a very popular figure at the time. He keeps the British people together. Not necessarily through words, but because he's the king. Long live the king, right? Germany. Oh, poor Germany with their fascist ideology. They're bitter losers and they are very pissed. They want vengeance. They want vengeance for the issues that happened. The Rhineland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, all of them crushed by the end of 1940 to the hands of the German Reich. Adolf Hitler, their leader, ideology fascist, totalitarian regime is their government. They have no elections, and the current ruling party is the Nazi Party, or the NSDAP. But Germany isn't the only fascist power in the region. Italy, right there in the south, is controlled by Benito Mussolini. Their ideology is also fascist. Their government is totalitarian regime. They have no elections, and they are ruled by the Partito Nazionale Fascista. They have Victoria Mutilata, which basically means that Mussolini not Mussolini. Italy itself is part of the Victoria side of the Allies from World War I. because they betrayed Germany and Austria, but that was not necessarily what they needed. Oh yeah, the AI will always go aggressive. They don't actually accept. They don't actually like to side with the Allies. So basically, Italy's a little upset over the issue of how much territory Italy should have gotten. Italy believed that they were going to cut Austria off completely from the region, from the sea, and they only got like southern Trial. So they were like a little upset. That's an understatement, though. Like the rest of the territory went to Yugoslavia after it got formed, and then there's Victor and Emmanuel III, who is supposed to be the guy who's leading Italy, not Mussolini. So that's a thing. So basically they get these very nice little agreements. There's pretty nice agreements right there. Then there's Japan. Oh great, Japan. Emperor Hirohito. Hirohito is the emperor and leader of Japan. They're fascist with a totalitarian regime. They have no elections, and their current ruling party is the Taisei Yukusankai. Oh my gosh, I can totally speak Japanese. That's easy, Romanji. They only have one very visible thing: state Shintoism. So they're just real fervent believers of Buddhism. They go in for Southern expansion. This is what they did historically. Southern expansion, the Divine Wind, but they didn't choose to go with their faction. That's just a little interesting choice they can make. As playing as Japan, it's always fun to just go after China and then invade the Soviet Union while at the same time going for the USA. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. If the Soviet Union is not at war with Germany, you're gonna lose. Oh man. Speaking of which, Joseph Stalin, communist, government totalitarian regime, never ran an election, and the current ruling party is the all-union communist party. I've only done it once, but I always thought Stalin was a terrible leader. Yeah, that's mostly why though. It's because of the Trotskyite plot. That Trotskyite plot will kill you if you don't do those purges, and you want to keep like someone close to Stalin in charge. You're gonna, if you let that thing stay, you want Trotsky in there. They're also the home of the revolution, which means they can actually create factions like the Comintern. So basically, Stalin takes over after Lenin dies and kicks Trotsky out of the Soviet Union. He's banished, I think, to Mexico. And he was actually trying to get, I think Trotsky was actually trying to get Mexico to become a permanent communist state. He tried, but it didn't actually work. These are the 6 major powers of the world at this point in time. We're going to play as another country though, because I have another mod installed. That's right, the Filipino. I'm the only one controlled by an actual human, and not an anime character. That's amazing. But no, legit. The Philippines is the only nation I do think the Philippines was the only nation I saw not controlled by an anime character. It's just like funny. It's so funny to me. Like all of the nations of the world are controlled by an anime character in some form or another. Oh my gosh. Every one of them. Yes, even the South American powers. Apparently this one's not ruled by anybody at all. But, yep. I don't know why Kakashi rules Uruguay. I can totally speak. But yeah, not a single nation controlled. But the only reason this is the case is because I have the mod for the Philippines. It's the Fighting Filipinos. And oh boy, is that a fun little mod. So as the Philippines, I actually decided, hey, let's side with Japan and just take over much of Asia and Oceania. I get Australia and New Zealand. Japan can take like much of China, while I take like the southern half. I take control of the British Raj in much of this region. It's really fun, actually. So, I'm gonna play on regular difficulty. Do I want to strengthen anybody? Nah, this is fine. Regular difficulty. I don't want AI. Oh, historical AI focuses on. So, this is what we've got, guys. The Fighting Filipinos. We will stand for what is right. In this series, by the end of 1941, we will stand for the right side. We will make sure that the people of the Philippines becomes what they were meant to be. We just broke free of American oppressionism. The Great Depression has ruined them greatly, and I need to stabilize my state first and get my ideological revolutions completely kicked out of these countries. I need them gone, but because they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a major problem if I don't deal with them. So, here's what I got. We're ready to go. I'm the great Filipinos. Let's go. We're gonna make our country insanely great. Let's get ready. My god, I'm gonna totally skip this part of the video. And we're here. Ooh, excuse me. So I have a few divisions I can assign. We need to start recruiting immediately. What I always do. I love these things so much. Always get those good, those very delicious research out of the way. Like Marines. That's the Philippines? Marines? Yes, please. Get every division on the islands into one army. We're going to stand alone, and we're going to exercise these guys. They're going to be led by Field Marshal Palino Santo. Palino Santo. He's going to have a fallback line here. He's going to have a fallback line here in the capital. Go. We're going to speed it up because I don't like doing this. So basically, like I said, I want stability. I need to make sure that our nation is a stable country. So we're going to stabilize ourselves. See, I want to form the Malayan Intertanda, but it doesn't work because freaking... It's freaking Indonesia and Malaysia. They don't want to ever side with me. Probably because they're all puppets to the Netherlands and Britain. So basically, what I'm going to go down, I'm probably going to go down the new regime, or I'm going to go down the American way, follow the American way. The reason why I would go down the new regime is just because, hey, I want to. I can go for ideological fanaticism, and then down Filipino contributory, which actually gives a lot of good stuff. Oh, those are legit some of the best things that I've gotten. Like, the national unity is not actually that bad. It's not actually that great. But this division training time, minus 10%, it basically means I can go for extensive conscription and not have that penalty. I can recruit them just faster than most countries. And then I get to Fighting Filipinos, which actually gives us an extra 2.5%. It's pretty nice. Looking through it all, going down the path that I want to, like, honestly, going down and getting the University of the Philippines is like always going to be a primary goal of mine. I want to stabilize the country. I want to get all of this done. because I need one of these, any one of these four, to get that extra research slot, and that extra research slot will go a long way. Oh my gosh. I can actually fight with Japan if I have to, but I usually don't. Greater Philippines will always be restored with me, because that's more recruitment, and it's crazy how much recruitment I get. Island defense, which is always what I'm going to go for, island defense. There's a lot of plans that I do. I don't usually stick to them. But if I'm going to do anything at this point in time, it's to stabilize my country. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just train one unit. We're going to just train that one unit until we need to. Get those support equipment in there. And basically, we're going to build up. We're going to build that one. We're going to build that one extra one there. We're going to wait a little while, so it's going to be a long time before I can get anything, really. But I'm going to try and build up and make myself a little stronger. Like, who is going to be the guy? Emilio Aguinaldo. That's a name I remember. Prince of Terror. Reformer. Silent Workhouse. Dang it, they don't have it. I want that. I need to change this from volunteer only to limited conscription. And then when I get to far enough, that extensive conscription will be, if I ever need to go that far, I'm going to be good. I'm going to change my my political ideology in a little bit. So I'm just getting a little bit at a time. So everybody start going there. Let's look at our Navy, because God knows we're gonna need a much more powerful Navy. Oh, God knows it. Yeah, there's no real infrastructure here in the Philippines. There's a lot of mountains in like certain regions, and then there's what is this, plains? That's plains. Yeah, that's plains. Let us see, weren't there hills somewhere around this region? Oh yeah, the jungle. Yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere over there. Anyone he trains heads onto that marker. We're never gonna make it there. At this point in time, I want you to understand, we're gonna be in a deficit until the very end of our like halfway through the year, we're gonna be out of the deficit. But I intend to like change all this. I want to strengthen up the Philippines as much as possible in the event of a war, because let's face it, we all know it's coming. Let's get rid of that. I don't need all of them. I'm gonna train one in Cebu as well. So this is how it looks. This is how the world stage looks at the moment. It's pretty normal. Italy's fighting with Ethiopia. Not exactly gonna win that war. Not exactly. Like, let's be straight here. Can Ethiopia really beat Italy? In no way, no how. Italy cannot lose that war. The only way that Italy could lose that war is if, say, someone like the Soviet Union sent volunteers over there. Highly doubtful. Meanwhile, I want to pick a side in supporting the Spanish Revolution, because there will be a revolt, and the fascists will win if the communists fail to keep control. It's why they'll fail. Why? Apparently they are not allied. Oh no, I'm democratic. That's what's going on. See that? 30% communist, 69% democratic. We have some pretty close ties. I have to make a choice, though. Very soon, if I don't make the choice, it's going to wind up ruining me. America, get the fuck off my country. You have islands so far. You have islands. Guam, I don't want you there. Go away. So as China's finna be straight up at war with the communists. They actually have no bad opinion of Japan. Not even see, look at that. Everyone's going for post stability, post for post independence stability. It doesn't say that they're going for it, but they're going for it. Like political effort, political effort, political effort, aviation effort. Okay, never mind. The British Raj is going for it. Industrial effort, naval effort, aviation, industrial. Interesting. Like, honestly, you could argue that I don't need to go for that. I'm actually going to go ahead and get myself industrialized while I'm waiting for it. I'm not going to waste any time there. Industrialization just sounds like a very good idea. Silent workhouse. I don't need that. Nah, I don't need that. Not at the moment. Well, actually, yeah, I kind of do. I want to make sure that they can get as big and as populous as possible. Getting that 15%, that 30% boost to political power is nice. It's very nice. But I need to counter this this communism. I don't usually go for it like that. But I can change something up. What I don't understand is why they didn't put this like somewhere down here. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a fun time. A decision has to be made very soon, and I do wonder how Romania is doing, because Romania most definitely just needs to stop. Romania just needs to stop. They're not exactly the best at what they do. So we're gonna go immediately in and just get those motorized. Get those motorized vehicles as soon as possible. Okay, so we're doing pretty well for this first episode. We just stabilized ourselves, made sure that America leaves us if they ever will. They probably won't, because I need them. Or I could appease Japan. Yeah, that's totally what I'm thinking about doing. Appeasing Japan. That's probably what we're going to wind up doing in a minute. But yeah, I think it's fine. Let's stop here. April 16th, 1936. Let's stop here for now. This has been pretty good. It's a pretty nice ideology here. Being democratic, but boy, is it growing ever so fast. That fascism is growing very fast. Well, our next election isn't until 41, so we got some time. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.